Do you get the feeling that your money disappears as fast as you earn it? Or do you feel like you don't have a very clear understanding of where you're spending your money? Then keep watching. Welcome to Financial Literacy, where we learn to make better financial decisions. If you're having a hard time to keep track of where your money is going, you're not alone. Anyone that never spent the time and the effort to get a good understanding of their expenses feels that way. Or at least they should. Because not that many people can get a very good understanding of their spending just by instinct alone. I would know. I used to think I had a pretty good understanding of my expenses until I actually spent the time to look at it, and then I realized I was quite off on a few things. I wasn't that far from reality, but doing the exercise helped me get a better grip on my spending and especially cut on the stuff that was not worth my money. So how are you supposed to track your spending? Are you going to keep all your receipts and start a binder or something? You could do that, but it sounds about as much fun as watching paint dry. If you're using cash for most of your transaction, I would recommend changing that habit. But I know it might not be possible for some people living in countries that still rely heavily on cash. When I lived in the Philippines, even I used cash for most of my transactions, so I know it might not be possible to switch to debit or credit for people living in countries like that. If this is your case, I still recommend tracking your spending, but you'll have to do most of the work manually. But for the lucky people living in countries where you can buy just about anything with a credit or a debit card, then here's how you do it. The easiest way is to smash the like button right now and then use a tool like mint.com. There are plenty of options to choose from, ranging from simple to very in-depth. You can even get one with cute little cartoons if that's the kind of things you're into. If you choose to use one of these apps, just make sure you choose a reputable one because you'll need to enter your bank data to get everything classified in the app for you. Many banks offer a service like that inside of their online platform, so it's oftentimes the most convenient option. If you don't have access to an app like that, or you just don't want to do it, then here's what you need to do. Get your credit card statements from the last 3 to 12 months and do the same thing for your checking accounts and any other account that you use to make your purchases. Dude, they're watching a video. They're not going to leave in the middle of it. Yes, of course, they can do that whenever they have time when they're done watching the video. So once you have everything, most likely from your bank's online platform, you can get every expense line and put it in a category. If you're a spreadsheet lover, like about 1% out of 1,000, then follow your heart. I'm sure you did this before and you're just using this as an excuse to do it all over again. But for the other 999, I'm sure you'll want to make this process as easy as possible. So just write down categories and subcategories that make sense to you, and start classifying every expense into one of these categories. If you get stuck on an expense that doesn't fit any categories that you have, just add a new category or subcategory and keep going. Make sure to keep enough information about miscellaneous expenses when you put them in so that you can have a good understanding of what your miscellaneous category includes. Once you have all your expenses laid down by categories, you can start learning from this data. First of all, you need to know if your expenses are representative of your current lifestyle and the one you're going to live in the near future. If your life changed in any major way recently, like if you just bought a house, got married, had a child, or lost your job, your numbers might have changed enough to make them unusable before that major event. But if possible, use the average of the last year, because your spending might change from month to month, so having a yearly view is going to help you get a more accurate picture of your monthly spending. For example, you might spend more on gifts before Christmas and then more on your electricity bill during the summer months because of AC. Some expenses like traveling are more yearly than monthly, so you might want to look at them as a yearly thing instead of monthly. The point of this exercise is to understand how you spend your money. So look at every category, and if the amount is surprising to you, start digging deeper. And if you feel like your expenses in one category does not reflect your values, then you found something to change. That's good news. The first time I did this exercise, I just used the app inside my bank's online platform. It took me about 15 minutes to reclassify a few expenses because sometimes the app didn't know what to do with some expense line, and sometimes I just wanted to reorganize things differently. When I was done, I just looked at every expense category, yearly and monthly, and for the most part, I was well aware of what I was spending. But I was honestly shocked to see how much I was spending on a restaurant. I wasn't spending that much every time I went to the restaurant, but adding up all the lunches at work and the restaurant meals with friends, it was more than I expected by a significant margin. I noticed that small and frequent expenses are usually what's the most shocking. Because they're so small, they don't feel like they're going to make a big difference. So I would tell myself, well, I'm spending a little bit of money on restaurant. But when you add up everything over a month or a year, you realize that those small restaurant expenses start eating up a lot of your money. Restaurants are eating up a lot of your money. You really went there. But puns aside, your $5 per day on coffee may or may not seem like more than what you're willing to spend on coffee once you look at it over a year. It all depends what's important for you. But now that you know what you're spending your money on, you can make better financial decisions. And this is what this channel is all about. So subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you'll never miss anything. If you decide to actually go ahead and track your spending, let me know what you expect to find in the comments below. You will probably gain enough from the process that you'll want to do it every few years as your life changes. And if you want to learn how to better manage your spendings, you have options here. So enjoy and have a good day.